Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association podcast, the CannaCast. I am Ida Pearlie, the Deputy Director. And today we are interviewing Kyle Miller from Easton Craft. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Longtime fan,
So,
first time caller kind of thing.
hey, we'll take it, right?
Yeah.
What can I play for you? Can you tell us, first of all, you are the owner of Easton Craft.
I am. Yep. Easton Craft and Cultivation.
Okay, and where are you located?
So we are in Easton Township, which is basically Ionia. It's the Ionia mailing address, but Easton Township licensed. We're pretty much the halfway point between Lansing and Grand Rapids. I can get to either one in like 35-ish minutes.
Okay, that's a
Mhm.
nice central location then
Yeah,
between the
it's not
two.
bad. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is your personal experience with cannabis?
Sure. So in 2017, I had been working for the state of Michigan in the legislature. I had been a patient since 2009, but in 17, my friend Jeff Hank was starting to put together the second round of the Michigan Legalized Ballot Initiative. And so I left my position there to start hustling the petition around and basically work alongside Robin's group to gather enough signatures to get Prop 1 onto the ballot. And during that process, I networked with a ton of caregivers, people that were like aspiring to get their community opted in and get licensed, and then a lot of folks in the ancillary side. And so at the conclusion of the election, when we finally voted it in and I knew that it was going to become a thing, I decided to move from Lansing back to my hometown to try to put together some capital with some friends and try to get our townships licensed, or excuse me, opted in to eventually get licensed. And that was kind of the area that I was most familiar with as far as getting things started. That was my initial responsibility to approach both the city of Ionia and Easton Township and kind of work with both of them to see who would pass an ordinance and what it would look like and try to identify some realistic properties and parcels that would be suitable for this business. And then flash forward to now, it's been going for a while. We started out as a Class A medical grow a little over 2 years ago. And then last August, we're awarded adult use Class C grow and then adult use retail. And so at that time, we decided to forego and not renew our medical Class A since our store was AU only. We just decided to keep the grow as AU only. And yeah, we've been cracking at it for almost a year now.
That's awesome. Congratulations on all that too. I
Thank
know it
you. I
takes a
appreciate
lot
it.
of work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it took a long time. The initial opt-in process, we had been going to meetings for 7 or 8 months at first, just to eventually get a no, and then told to come back 12 months later. And so we waited for an entire 12 months to get met only for another 12 months, and then eventually rec. And so it's kind of a snowball effect that started, long, long ago.
Right. Well, hey, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, totally.
awesome. What's your personal experience with cannabis?
Sure. So I've been a patient since 2009, but I've been a consumer since probably 2005 or six.
Hmm.
I consume every day. I'm kind of a concentrate head, but I definitely smoke a lot of flower too. I love solventless cold cured hash rosins, for example, like the
Hmm.
top tier. If I can keep the Puffco stocked on that, that's kind of my go-to.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Why is it important for you to be a patient?
I think it's important to be a patient because, well, I've had different medical issues over my life. I have a really bad ankle. I've had surgery on a couple of times. I have a bad knee. And then just kind of general all around body pain that's addressed with cannabis. And I think, initially, admittedly, too, a lot of people would probably agree that they got their initial medical license just simply to stop being harassed.
Right.
At the time in 2008 or 9, cannabis became legal at the medical state, but it definitely wasn't viewed that way by a lot of law enforcement officials. They would really hound you, and so a lot of people use that as an initial barrier to at least try to defend themselves. But I think even in an active rec market, it's still important to remain a medical patient, just so those services and um, specific items remain, available for medical patients, like true medical patients that need things like suppositories, for example, or like just things that are harder to find that you don't find in the rec market, that have been in some ways kind of forgotten about by certain producers. I think there's kind of a need and a sense of urgency to restore that, and to also support the caregivers, who are the ones in most cases doing, or providing those kinds of products for specifically for patients, not just to flip and make money like a lot of the rec side.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, everything becomes commercialized at one point or another.
Sure, it's inevitable, and it's not any,
Yeah.
it's not any particular organizer's fault or anything. It's just the way that things played out.
Right. Now, you mentioned that you have a Senate background. What exactly did that entail?
Yeah, yep. So I got my bachelor's in political science from CMU, and then from there worked at the Capitol in the legislature for a couple of years. I worked for a gentleman named Morris Hood, former state senator from Detroit. And then prior to that, I started out as an intern for Rebecca Warren from Ann Arbor, former state senator, who's now Jeff Irwin's seat in Ann Arbor. And so did that for a little while, have some experience in campaigns, ran a state house race with my friend Steve Rizeppa down in Monroe for a candidate named Tom Redmond back in 2014. It was one of the closest state house races at that time, but we unfortunately lost. So when MI Legalized came, to be an option, it was relevant not just because I enjoy weed and wanted to legalize it, but I did have attributable kind of background as far as fundraising and organizing people to door knock and to collect signatures and things like that. So it was kind of a seamless fit, and so I was willing to give up my pretty decent salary and health insurance at that time for just a couple $100 a week, and an option to network, really, like to start building a real foundation and people that were serious, and try to get connected and try to just get to know the industry outside of what you read about and see on TV.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that, like how you saw you needed to immerse yourself
Yeah, totally.
into the industry, to learn about it, instead of just coming in and,
Like a
throwing your
couple
weight
of these
around,
MSOs
essentially.
do.
You're
Like a
right.
couple of these multi-state operators that come in here and just, hey, we're at the party now.
Right.
It
Yeah.
doesn't work like that.
So, Easton Craft's been open since August of 2021. How's business
Correct.
been
Yep.
for you?
It's been good. We have two other stores in town,
Oh,
Arcana and Consume. Consume's a chain that has a couple stores around, and I think they have a couple in Illinois as well. And then Arcana has just one retail here, but they have a pretty significantly large production. They run the brand Trap House Company and Three Lefts, if you're familiar, which are both pretty nice products for sure. They're great people. We've sent them biomass to get trimmed, or to get processed. Before our retail opened, they were a big client for us for flower. Same with Consume. They don't sell our flower at their Ionia location, but we sell them flower to their other stores. And so it's been cool that the two other players from out of town, since this is my hometown, the two other players that came to town are really cool. They've worked with us well and are nice people. There's also in Easton Township, there's one other grow, a grow called Green Harvest Farms, which is other locals just like us. So it's been cool to have another grow filled with people that I've known for like 20 years. So I like that.
Well, it makes it really nice when, again, you said it's your hometown, and when
Yeah,
others are coming in, and it has more of a community feel that way instead of
for
we're
sure.
outsiders, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. So I hear there's food trucks going on over there.
Yeah, so we partnered with a local food truck, and our agreement basically was we don't charge either, like a service or anything. They pull, they park, they sell out of their food, and then we typically our sales are a little higher that day, and the traffic's a little higher, and the buzz has kind of got around, and people really like this particular food truck. Um, and
Okay.
so I'd like to work with others too. We just haven't really found anyone. These guys are pretty local. I think they're based out of Greenville, which is just a little north of us. But it's called Taqueria El Azteca, and
Okay.
yeah, they've been awesome.
That's awesome. So how often do you bring them
Usually
over?
Fridays.
Oh,
But
every
they did
Friday.
they there's a couple where they've had like prearranged engagements where they don't come. And then they came on a Wednesday for 420, which is the biggest day we've ever had actually in sales.
Yay, that's
And
awesome.
I know for them they had planned to stay until 6 and they were sold out by like 3:30.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was a big day for them too. So it was
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, you're really forming those connections. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, there's a connection between you and Chris Silva. Can you explain, who he is and your
sure.
connection to him?
Yeah, so Chris Silva is a gentleman that worked on the Michigan Legalized campaign as well. He also has a long kind of political legislative background. He was the chair of the Green Party for a year or two, has a lot of election campaign experience.
Mm.
And he presented to me a couple of months ago an idea for a podcast called Chadwatch, which is a podcast that we ultimately did start. We just had our fourth episode,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and so it's essentially our investigative journalism approach to some of the things that are going on in the Michigan cannabis industry. Certain players that might be maybe bending some of the rules, or maybe um, engaging in some dubious matters, so to speak. And so, if you're interested in anything like that, though, I recommend following Chadwatch Podcast on social media, Instagram and Facebook, and then we're also on Spotify. We should be on Apple by now. I'm not sure if that's officially pulled, but we will be soon if we're not. We're definitely live on Spotify though, and yeah, we'd love to have everybody check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I that's awesome. I love how you're just really incorporating everything,
Thank you.
that you're working on, yeah. So, explain. You're working with Ryan Basor over at Redemption.
Yeah, I'm working with Ryan
Congratulations
Boozer now
on
too.
that.
Thank you. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we opened Easton Craft retail store it's been about 7 months now, August, and I have always been the primary salesperson for our flower as well. So doing the flower sales for and GMing the store. The GMing the store part, after a while, I was just getting a little kind of stir crazy. I worked at Meds Cafe before that for over a year and a half. And so it's been retail, 40 plus hours a week for a couple of years now. And so we decided to promote somebody internally who's been doing a fantastic job since we opened. Her name's Taylor Consdorf. She's a great employee and now store manager. We promoted
Shout out to
her.
Taylor real quick.
Yeah, heck yeah. And so she's going to be running the store, and then I will continue to do the Easton Craft flower sales. But then on top of that, I'm also going to do some sales with Ryan Basor and Redemption, and then maybe some work with his association, the Redemption Foundation, which has done a lot of really great charitable things for people that have been impacted by the war on drugs. And having I also have a master's in public administration, and part of that was about grant writing and kind of fundraising and nonprofit management. So I haven't held an actual hired position in nonprofit management per se, but I do have a little bit of background knowledge that I think we could give the college try and make work.
Yeah, wow. You are really following your passions,
Thank you. Yeah,
and making them work for you. Yeah.
it's crazy because when I got out of college, I remember feeling overwhelmed. Like, is this, did I get a dumb degree or something? Like,
Oh.
is this gonna work out? Like, but it did. So
That's really cool. You have a son.
I do have a son. His name's Nolan.
Congratulations on that.
Thank
That's
you.
a
Yeah.
small feat in itself.
Yeah, he's going to be 7 months next on the 4th, so about a week or so.
Okay.
And Ryan actually has a son that's a little less than a month younger, so they're like exact same time. We're going through all the exact same things. Like,
Oh,
I got to be home
wow.
by this time, or he's got to be home by that time. So it's kind of cool. We're going through all the
Well,
same stuff.
yeah, exactly. You've got somebody who's like right in the thick of it with you.
Yeah, totally. Mhm.
Someone who can relate.
Yeah.
How has your son impacted, cannabis for you?
Yeah, so I definitely don't smoke on my couch in front of the TV anymore. That's for sure. I'm out in the garage now, but it's been good. It's been honestly my for the first like especially 10 to 12 weeks, my consumption was just cut by like at least 75% because I just didn't have time anymore. Like you're changing a lot of diapers, you're burping, you're bottling, you're doing all those things. And admittedly, they sleep a lot at that point, but like I'm in the other room, like peeking in, like trying, back and forth every like 10
Hovering.
minutes. Yeah, so I don't want to smoke because I'll get all anxiety crazy or something. So it
Right.
really cut my time for at the beginning, but now I'm in a comfortable routine and I know at least a little bit more about what I'm doing, and I think we're doing fine though.
That's awesome to hear. It's crazy
Yeah,
how kids just like literally upheaval your life. I mean,
yeah, they
you
really
have
do.
no idea what to expect until you're just in
Right.
it.
Made it to 32, but now it's time.
Right, right. That's funny. Would you have any advice that you would like to give your 2021 self?
My 2021 self advice, man, I think that my advice to myself would be to kind of pump the brakes and just let the industry unfold a little bit. There was times where, um, stressed out about if we don't get this by X date, then everything's just going to crumble or something, and it doesn't
Right.
necessarily work like that. Like it's a long, 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 long race. If we think about cannabis seed or cannabis legalization on a time scale, we're still at the very, 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 very beginning. I know it feels like like Colorado, for example, legalized. It's been a decade now or something or close. So was it 12 or 14? I think when
I
Colorado
think it was
passed.
12.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're a decade into it, but it's still in its infancy. I mean, it's still federally illegal. People are still in jail, and so there's just I think another year from now, things will be even more different, even
Mhm.
crazier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's nuts. Um, you've been a member for just under a year. Why was it important for you to join the MICIA?
Well, I think it was important to join because, first of all, your leader, Robin, has been in the thick of it forever. She's a fearless leader that is, really doing great things for the industry. But also, I think it's an association thing, like you want to be surrounded by the people that are in this industry for the right reason. And I looked at the
Mhm.
list of members, and a lot of them are people that I've known for years and are good friends. And so I want to be associated with a group like that cares about where the industry is going and has a long standing background in trying to make good decisions that impact the industry as a whole, and fighting some of the crazy bills that come up. The MCMA is pushed for plant count reductions, and then the hemp conversion stuff. Having an association that is not on board with some of that radical stuff, it deserves our money for that reason, for sure.
Right, right. But yeah, we're definitely, wanting to encompass and take care of Michigan.
Yeah, I appreciate it for sure. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah,
And I think
right.
honestly, if I had never gotten into a license and doing things, given my background before, I probably would have tried to gravitate to an association or a job like what you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Well, yeah, your background, definitely. I mean, that's
Yeah, totally.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for joining us. And
Yeah, no problem.
first of
Thanks for
all,
having me.
I do want to say thank you for being a member.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Again, like we love all of our members and
I'm looking
just the
forward
connections.
to the meeting up north at the golf resort.
Our summer annual.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I haven't been able to go the last couple of years. Last year, my girlfriend was pregnant, and then the year before that, I had to miss 2. So I haven't been able to go. But Ryan's already got an Airbnb ready. Like we're months ahead of time where it's already on the calendar. So I'm going to be up there for sure.
Yay! We can't wait to see you up there. You're gonna have a lot of fun.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Nice. Is there anything else that you'd like to give a shout out or anything that you want to touch on real quick?
Yeah, I would just say if you guys would go ahead and check out Easton Craft on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Easton Craft MI. Our grow Instagram's Easton Craft Cultivation. I got to give a shout out to Ryan Basor and the Redemption team. If you want to follow Redemption Canna and maybe the Redemption Foundation, that would be awesome. Chadwatch, we air every other Tuesday at 1 p.m. If you want to follow Chadwatch on Instagram or Facebook, Spotify, check us out. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kyle, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This has been fun.
Thanks. Talk to you later. All right. Now we are going to get ready for our ancillary shout out to Dart Bank. If you're looking for banking, check out Dart Bank.
Dart Bank has been in the banking business in mid-Michigan for over 95 years. Dart Bank's mission is to serve communities in financial and non-financial ways. If you are in the industry and looking for banking solutions, look no further. Email banking@dartbank.com.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I am Ida Pearl Lee, and I will see you next week. Take care.